Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the latest on the Toronto Maple Leafs, as they have made it pretty clear their main target going into this trade deadline, and it is from Anaheim. No, it is not Freddie Anderson this time. Hampus Lindholm seems to be a really big name, the big ticket defenseman left on the board, and the Maple Leafs are actively and heavily pursuing the Ducks defenseman. So we'll be going over that. There's a couple of other teams that have been in the mix on Hampus Lindholm, so we'll be going over that as well. So this is from Pierre LeBrun. I don't believe the Ducks have talked to Hampus Lindholm's camp in about a week or so. At last check, Anaheim was willing to talk about a 5-year extension, but Lindholm's camp was consistent in wanting longer term than that. So you're looking at probably a 7 or 8 year deal. Hampus Lindholm wants a max contract. Now there's a couple of things that will play into that this summer, more than likely when he tests the free agency waters. But if he signs somewhere in free agency, the max he could sign is 7 years. If he signs with whatever team acquires him at the deadline and has him up until the end of the season, they will be able to give him an 8th-year option. So that may be an attractive piece there if Hampus Lindholm is truly sold on having that extra security in terms of a longer-term contract. That could be on the table here. Now, this is an interesting report here from Pierre LeBrun. The Panthers have kept regular tabs on defenseman Hampus Lindholm and Ben Chiarot. We now know the answer to that. They did end up acquiring Ben Chiarot, and the good thing is, this is one less player that is in the market for a defenseman. The Colorado Avalanche, they picked up Josh Manson. The Florida Panthers have already picked up Ben Chiarot, who I actually thought would have been a nice fit in Toronto. Maybe not for a first and a fourth, but I think that's a pretty good situation here. You have a couple of buyers that are off the market that may benefit the Maple Leafs come trade deadline day. So this is from, we already talked about from Pierre LeBrun. The Ducks wanted a 5-year deal. It sounds like he wants more in the ballpark of a 7 or 8 year deal. I don't even know if salary per season was necessarily brought up. That'll be an interesting debate. Is this, is Hampus Lindholm a defenseman that makes $7 million or $9 million? I think that is legitimate in terms of the range between 7 and 9 million per year, but I think he was looking, especially if you're looking at a 5-year deal, he was probably looking closer to that 9.5 per year. So this is from Nick Alberga. Hampus Lindholm and Rickard Rakell could follow Manson out the door in Anaheim. We already talked about that. At this point, I'm told there are no ongoing talks on a new contract with either player. Like I said, a lot of that is the duration of the contract, which it sounds like Anaheim is not willing to go more than 5 years on Lindholm, which makes you wonder, why don't the Ducks want to go more than 5 years on Lindholm? Is there a situation with him as a player or the salary cap structure over the next couple years for the Ducks? What is holding the Ducks back from giving him that 7 or 8 year deal? That's the question. If I'm a team that's acquiring, let's say I'm Kyle Dubas, I'm going to ask Pat Verbeek. Now, he may not give me the answer, but at least I'll catch him in his steps. Well, I don't want to give up a first-round pick. Why aren't you giving him 7 or 8 year deals on this, or 7 or 8 years on his contract? Why are you not willing to go more than 5? What's up with that? Why would I give you so-and-so, right? So you kind of have to play that game. The fact that information has gotten out, that's something Pat Verbeek's going to learn. You probably don't want that information to get out all too much, and I think he's kind of going to pay for it here with a Hampus Lindholm trade. So we'll see what happens, but that is something to consider. A lot of stuff on the duration of the contract. That was big news when that got released. And now we start to hear more about the Maple Leafs. I believe, and this is from Elliot Friedman, I believe Hampus Lindholm is the Maple Leafs' top target. They have also looked at Giordano, Braun, Klingberg, and Jacob Middleton in San Jose. Wouldn't be surprised if Dermott gets a fresh start before the trade deadline. So there's a couple things in that. Basically showing that the Leafs are in the market for a defenseman, and some guys in particular. We heard about Travis Konecny and Justin Braun being brought in as a package deal about a week or two ago from the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, again, that might still be an offer that gets fielded on the table closer to the deadline. but they've looked in at Klingberg. I think that one kind of got shot down, but still very much a possibility if, Dallas can't get a first-round pick for Klingberg. Giordano just got a milestone in Seattle, so that's something to consider. And Keaton Middleton, I don't think he has the punch of the other defensemen, but he might actually be the best player overall, other than Hampus Lindholm. The reason I say that is, Justin Braun's had a decent season. Klingberg has actually not had a great season, and Giordano is on a good team, and maybe not on the Leafs, but on a good team. He's going to be a third-pairing defenseman. Keaton Middleton is a third-pairing defenseman, but I think he has the higher ceilings over the next couple of years, considering he is a younger defenseman. So that's something to consider as well. But I think Hampus Lindholm is the best name out there right now for the Leafs. They don't want to trade Matthew Nyes, which has been a pretty clear thing for them. Their first-round pick this year. They don't want to move that either. So those are a couple things to consider. Again, I think the Ducks are going to be having a lot of stuff going on. Pat Verbeek's going to be getting a lot of assets at this deadline. Rickard Rakell, Hampus Lindholm. Potentially, we've been hearing stuff about a Maxime Comtois trade. The Ducks may be looking to bring in players. Jake DeBrusk. Who's another name we recently heard? Dominic Kubalik. There's a couple things being offered here on the table. It's just a matter of what's the best fit for the player, the team, and what gets you the most assets, or what costs you the least assets for the most return. That is all that this is really coming down to. But expect something to come up pretty quickly here for Hampus Lindholm, because I think teams are going to be eyeing him up, and somebody's going to want to have him sooner rather than later. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.